Welcome to today's deep dive into the top healthcare news. It's March 2nd, 2025, and we've got a lot to unpack.
Let's start with Walgreens. They're thinking about breaking up into three different companies.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, it kind of goes against what we've been seeing with all this healthcare consolidation.
So they might spin off Boots, their international chain, right?
Yeah, Boots UK, and then potentially make two more separate companies too.
That could really change things up for pharmacies.
It really could. Makes you wonder if this bigger is better idea is losing its hold on the industry.
Yeah, or if it'll give smaller companies a chance to, get a foothold.
We'll have to see what happens.
Definitely. Now let's talk about AI. Professor Mohanbir Salni from Northwestern Kellogg School of Management, he's been talking about how generative AI is changing business.
Generative AI. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, Instead of just automating stuff, machines are actually creating things now, like text and images, even code.
It's not just theory anymore. It's like really happening.
Exactly. And it's changing how businesses work.
Speaking of real-world stuff, a study by Common Sense Media found that almost 30% of parents with kids 8 and under said their kids are using AI for learning.
Wow. That's a lot of young kids using AI. Makes you wonder what it means for, how they learn and what teachers will do.
Definitely a turning point for education, I think. And there's a lot happening with AI in healthcare specifically, too, like Children's Minnesota.
Oh, right. They're teaming up with an AI company to make things run smoother.
Trying to improve things for patients, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of healthcare places are using AI now to cut costs and make things better for patients.
It's not just about fancy treatments anymore.
No, it's about the whole system.
Right. And then there's Zoom. They're putting money into this AI startup. Suki?
Suki, yeah, they're focused on healthcare applications for AI.
Interesting. Like, tech companies are really seeing the potential of AI in healthcare.
Oh, yeah. Like with Suki, they're using AI to help doctors with all that paperwork, taking notes and stuff so they can spend more time with patients.
That makes sense. And I read that a bunch of healthcare executives, like 72 of them,
Yeah.
said that AI is shaping how they make decisions.
Yeah, they see AI as a way to, get better at diagnosing and treating people. Plus, it could make things cheaper and more efficient.
But they know there are some issues too, like data privacy and making sure AI is fair.
Exactly. So we've got Prime Healthcare. They finished buying those 8 Ascension hospitals in Illinois.
Yeah, big news. Prime's known for taking over hospitals that are struggling.
Right. And turning them around. Be interesting to see what they do with these new hospitals.
And then you've got University Hospitals in Cleveland. They're expanding their services to focus on housing and health.
That's interesting. They're really thinking about how those social factors, like having a stable place to live, affect people's health.
It's a good approach.
Definitely. And then there's Ohio Health. They're spending over $1 billion on new buildings.
Wow, $1 billion. That's a lot.
It is. And one of the projects is a brand new women's health center.
Oh, wow. So they're really investing in their community.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to keep up with what people need.
Some good news for the nurses at NYU Langone Hospital in Brooklyn. They ended their strike.
Oh, good. They agreed on a new contract, so things are settled for now.
That's good. Hopefully it's a good contract.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the details, but at least they're back to work, taking care of patients.
Speaking of nurses and doctors, there's a lot of worry about the future of general physicians.
Yeah, some doctors aren't so sure about recommending the field to, med students anymore.
Because of things like how much they get paid and all the paperwork.
Yeah, there's just a lot of uncertainty around general practice these days.
And that's a problem, right? Because everyone needs a good primary care doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Primary care is really important for keeping people healthy.
It really is.
If there aren't enough general doctors, it could be hard for people to get the basic care they need.
Absolutely. And it's not just here in the U.S. Globally, there are some pretty concerning developments. The Trump administration is talking about cutting a lot of money from USAID.
USAID, oh boy, that's not good. They do so much important work around the world.
Like with HIV and tuberculosis. And they help fight malaria.
It would be a huge step backward if they lost funding. We could see all the progress we've made just slip away.
It's scary to think about. Millions of people could suffer.
It really underscores how interconnected global health is. What happens in one part of the world affects us all.
And we can't forget about the issues we're facing here at home, like the cost of nursing homes and hospice care. It's just getting more and more expensive.
It's tough, especially with so many baby boomers getting older and needing that kind of care.
It's a real burden for families. And then there was that horrible shooting at UPMC Memorial in Pennsylvania.
Awful. It's a stark reminder that even hospitals aren't immune to violence.
So many hospital leaders are understandably upset and scared.
It's understandable. They're worried about their staff, their patients, everyone.
We need to do more to protect our healthcare workers. They're already dealing with so much.
Absolutely. No one should have to fear for their safety when they go to work, especially not people who are dedicated to helping others.
On a more positive note, Francis Collins, the former director of the NIH, is retiring.
Yeah, but he's not going quietly. He's speaking out about the funding cuts and layoffs happening at the NIH.
He's asking for people to support the workers there. They're under a lot of pressure.
And they're doing incredibly important work. The NIH funds so much of the medical research that leads to new treatments and cures.
We can't afford to lose that momentum. Now, shifting gears a bit, there's a new study out about the importance of good communication in eye care clinics.
Makes sense. Clear communication is essential in any medical setting, especially when you're dealing with something as delicate as eyesight.
The study highlights how important it is to be sensitive to different cultures and languages.
Absolutely. If patients can't understand what their doctor's saying, or if the doctor doesn't fully understand the patient's concerns, it can lead to all sorts of problems.
Like misdiagnoses and people not following their treatment plans.
Exactly. We need to make sure everyone feels heard and understood. It's crucial for building trust and getting the best possible outcomes.
It's all about making healthcare more equitable and accessible for everyone. And speaking of health, there's a lot of debate these days about seed oils.
Seed oils, yeah, those are the ones that are in pretty much everything.
Like canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil. Some experts are saying that they might not be so good for you.
They have a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, which can lead to inflammation if you eat too much.
So it's a bit of a controversy. Some dietitians are saying we need to be careful about how much we consume.
Others say it's fine in moderation. I think the key takeaway is that nutrition is complicated.
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for another.
That's why it's always a good idea to talk to a registered dietitian if you have questions about your diet.
Absolutely. They can give you personalized advice based on your individual needs.
So we've covered a lot of ground today,
Mm.
from global health concerns to the cost of care and the ongoing debate about nutrition.
And let's not forget about AI. It's changing the landscape of healthcare in so many ways.
So we talked about AI with diagnoses and treatments, but could it maybe help with some of those big problems in healthcare, like the cost and all the paperwork?
Oh, yeah, definitely. AI could really streamline things, make everything more efficient, less waste.
So it could bring costs down.
Potentially, yeah, for both patients and providers.
And what about personalized medicine? Everyone's talking about how AI can personalize treatments.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge area where AI could revolutionize things. It can look at tons of patient data, find patterns, predict how someone might respond to a treatment.
So doctors could create, like, custom treatment plans.
Exactly. More effective, fewer side effects. It's pretty exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this healthcare news deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is that healthcare is changing fast. New technology, new ways of delivering care, and a lot of challenges that need creative solutions. It's important to stay informed.
It really is. We've covered so much today, from Walgreens potentially breaking up to AI to the problems facing our healthcare system. It's a lot to take in.
But it's important to stay curious, keep learning.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
The more you know, the more you can advocate for yourself and for better healthcare for everyone.
Exactly, whether you're a patient, a healthcare professional, or just someone who cares about these issues.
Well said. Thanks for joining us today for this deep dive into healthcare news.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with more news and insights from the world of healthcare. Until then, stay well.